Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again for tuning into the Post-Apocalyptic News Radio, your only source for the latest goings-on in the post-apocalyptic wasteland we call home. Today I have a new segment for you. It's something of an art segment that I thought we could do together. The purpose of this segment I thought would be, one, to improve my art skills as well as yours, and to get a bit closer as a community. The way this art segment works is I'm going to state a topic. It'll be something simple that anybody could truly do. And I'm going to set out to draw that topic, and I would like to ask that you please draw along with me. At the end of the episode, I'm going to show you my creation, and I would like to see yours as well. In the description down below, there will be a link. That link will be an email address, and I should like to ask that you please send your creations to that email address. During the next episode of this art segment, anybody who has chosen to do so will see their works there. Now for today's segment. You're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a sketchbook, you're going to need a pencil, and a pencil sharpener. The sharpener, of course, is optional, just don't break your lead. I'm known to break mine, so I have one. The sketchbook should be empty. I will show you mine now. It is perfectly well empty. I don't know if you can see that from the camera there, and I'm very bad at flipping and the camera's far away, so hopefully you can take my word for it that it is empty. You know I've always been on the up and up. Now, start with a blank page. Today's topic, I suppose, is going to be a tree, or many trees. It's your choice, really. Draw it however you think they should be drawn. Now, throughout the course of this segment, I'm just going to be talking. It's going to be a one-on-one freestyle, whereas many of the things that I produce here are fairly well scripted. This is going to be free-form. God have mercy on me. Now, I should admit that I have not drawn anything in a very long time. Now, I used to be into drawing on the regular, but that got squashed, for lack of a better word, many years ago. Let's see, to start a tree. I'll tell you that story in a second. I need to figure out how to start a tree. I can't multitask. I'm terrible at it. I think maybe a simple line would be a good start. Trees are made of lines, aren't they? I think they are. There we go. Nice and thick line here. Perfect. But many years ago, back when I was in school, I used to draw on the way home, on the bus. I would have scratch sheets of paper, things that didn't matter anymore, and I would draw on the backs of them. They weren't anything spectacular. In fact, they were quite terrible. The simplest form of a human body, a circle, a rectangle, and 4 limbs. It's nothing to write home about, but I would draw them and I would make little comics. Now, there was one occasion where my father was scolding me about my performance in school. I was not necessarily the greatest student in the world, and he was going through my folders in my bag, and he found a number of those comics, and in a very condescending tone, he referred to them as doodles, and told me I ought not to be drawing in class. He of course didn't believe me when I said that they were only done on the bus, but that interaction I think spoiled my love for drawing as a whole. I tried to reignite it many times over the years, but I never quite could. But anyway, I've got this line here now. Let me see. I think maybe something like this, something a little bit more frilly for a branch, perhaps a bit longer. There we go. Trees aren't necessarily symmetrical, are they? So it shouldn't look the same on either side. Now I'm opting to create a tree without any leaves, as if it were autumn, or as if it were perhaps a wasteland outside. Fitting to the character, I suppose. But you may choose to draw any tree you like, perhaps a lush green one, or one deep in a rainforest. Those would be the same thing, wouldn't they? Or perhaps you would opt to draw a Christmas tree, and there's nothing at all wrong with that. I'm worried, however, that my tree is starting to look more like a cactus than a tree. Perhaps I will draw multiple. Let's see. Or you know what, I think I will draw another tree beside this first one, and it will start with the branches, and I will make the trunk after. I think that might be a way to go. Now, let's see, what's something I could talk about to fill this time? I'm not very good at improvising, if you couldn't tell. There we go. That's a pretty solid looking branch, if I do say so myself. I'm impressing myself. So let's do a trunk here. But a story. Let's see. So, there have been many occasions where the missus has gone to draw things. I've always been rather supportive of her artistic endeavours, and rightly so. She is particularly talented. She, however, does not think so. She finds her work to be awful. I strongly disagree, and if I can get her to agree, I'll show you some of it next time. But what she's taken to doing is now she'll draw things, and we've got this insulation foam that we've been using for different projects. And what she'll do is she'll take that foam to a hot wire, and she'll cut out the outlines of her drawings, and she'll make those drawings out of foam. It's still a 2D surface, but it's on the foam. If I can get her permission, I will show you some at a later time, but they are quite wonderful. I suppose I should ask, how have you been as of late? Are you guys doing alright? Considering the current state of the world is rather poor, and many aren't doing so well, I am concerned for your well-being, both mental and physical. If you saw the last personal video that I uploaded, the normal conversation I think is what I called it, you'll know that I'm not doing particularly alright, mentally or physically. But I think that's alright, I'll get better eventually. I've been dealing with severe depression lately, which is fun. I've dealt with depression for years now, and my normal go-to for dealing with depression is I will look at myself in the mirror and I'll tell myself, be a man, deal with it, get over it. Now, is that a healthy way to deal with it? Perhaps not. But it's how I've dealt with it, and for many years it's been alright. However, considering I've been in isolation for... I don't even know how long I've been in here anymore. My last day outside was sometime in the middle of March. Very long time ago. Several months. And that has worn away at my psyche. For the worse, I'd say. And it's making it more and more difficult to just deal with it. Which is unfortunate, but... I'll get by, I'm sure. Changing topic entirely, something else we can talk about. The missus has informed me today that her nephew watches my YouTube channel, which surprises me. I didn't think anything on here would interest him per se. After all, it's all just me talking into a microphone. Not particularly interesting for a child. However, if he enjoys it, then I am glad to hear it. With that said, I should like to say hello, although I don't know how your mother would feel about me saying your name on the internet, so I will simply say hello to the missus's nephew. I know he would absolutely love it if I said his name. However, again, I don't know how his mother would feel about that. My trees are looking absolutely dreadful. Perhaps I should have looked up a tutorial beforehand. Oh well, I'm committed to it. And this is all about improving, isn't it? So earlier today, I set out to find a new computer. I truly need one. The one that I have, it's right over there. It doesn't work so well. It was my father's before his passing, and he had it for quite some time, and well, its age is starting to show. It doesn't necessarily connect to the internet anymore. It has a wireless adapter built into it, so it should, but it doesn't. It does on occasion, but only for a short period of time. On top of that, it's got problems with dealing with my video editing. So I wanted to find a new machine that could properly handle everything, and perhaps a laptop that I could take it to a place where I could record in a less echoey room, because I don't know if you've noticed, but this particular room with these walls here, it's not well suited for recording. So I went online and I asked around a few people, and somebody did recommend a very decent model. It would cost me about $1,200. Unfortunately, being that I'm out of work at the moment, I can't necessarily pay for that. So I sent it to the missus saying, hey, here's this, here's why I need it. And that was that. She said, yeah, it looks like a great computer, but we can't afford it, to which I said, I know, I have the money in my bank account, but, you know, there's rent, food, phone bill. So that was fun. I got very sad when I came to the realization that it doesn't matter if I think I need it or if I want it. It really doesn't matter because I can't get it. I was particularly upset by that. The missus saw that I was sad, and she did a wonderful thing. She went to our storage room and dug out her old laptop, the one that she had when she was in a dorm room in university many years ago. She pulled it out, she hard reset it, took everything off of it. It's basically a new thing, and said I could use it. Now, it's got some technical problems. There's something going on with the screen, the battery's screwed over, but it is a better option than what I'm presently working with. If I'm being perfectly honest, I almost cried. Pardon me. But I have that. It's sitting over there, and I'm going to be experimenting with it tomorrow. I need to find my editing program discs, get those downloaded on there, and see how that works. I'd tell you what model of a computer it is, but honestly I don't know. Ooh, I might have something here. Yes, I think I might have the workings of a tree. Or perhaps not. I might be fooling myself in the hopes that I am improving in such a short time. But it is nice to fool myself sometimes. There we go. Well, that one isn't so bad at all. Now, my tree has turned into multiple trees and a collection of branches. And honestly, some of them look a bit too spiky to be trees, but that one I think I'm quite happy with. And I'll show it to you once we get to the end of this, which we're coming up to now. Now, in a couple of minutes. A few more things that I should like to do here. And that means I need to come up with a few more stories, doesn't it? In order to keep you occupied. After all, I would hate for you to get bored while we are sitting here and enjoying the conversation together. Perhaps you could help me in the future with this. Perhaps if you had any questions you wanted to ask me, or anything you wanted me to talk about, perhaps something personal to you wanted me to discuss, this would be a perfect opportunity to do so. So I would ask that if there's anything at all you want me to discuss in the future, please leave them down in the comments below. That reminds me of something else. We are, at present, at 65 subscribers, which is, I have no delusions of grandeur. I know that's not a lot at all. However, I am ecstatic to be at 65 subscribers. There are 65 people out in the world who liked my ideas, my content so much that they were willing to subscribe to me. And that brings me no small amount of joy. That brings me some amount of pride. And again, I know 65 is not a lot of people. However, it does give me some pause. It makes me think, perhaps this could be something I could do in the future. Perhaps one day this will be more than just a side thing that I'm doing. Naturally, I don't expect that will ever truly happen. It is very likely that this channel will fade into obscurity, and very few will remember it, if any at all. But if any do, I will be happy. I'm trying to come up with something to do if I should ever reach 100 subscribers, which is only 35 away. I'm unsure what I would do if I hit 100, but I should like to do something special. If you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to let me know. I am open to help. I think I've drawn more of a fern than anything with this one. But it doesn't look half bad. Alright. Well, I think that is going to be it for today's art episode. I'm sorry that my storytelling was subpar. This was ad-libbed. Perhaps in the future I'll bring other people on to have conversations with and to draw alongside me. We'll see. In the meantime, this is what I've done, and I hope you have enjoyed. Again, I will remind you that down below there is a link in the description. Anything that you've drawn I should like to see, and if you choose to send them to that email address there, you might just see them in the next installment of this art program. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this yet. On the screen now, that is what I've created. It's not at all that good, but it's what I've done. Thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope to continue this series. I think this could be a lot of fun. Until next time, if you're truly out there, good luck.